Hi everyone. I'm Allison and I'm going to be talking about employment and labor law. So who here has been an employee? How about an employer? Has anyone had employees? Okay, great. So we're going to first talk about who is an employee and a few situations that aren't actually involved in that employer-employee relationship. And then we'll also talk about what the responsibilities of an employer are if you do actually have employees. So imagine I'm going to open a cafe and I'm going to employ Meg. She's going to be serving, helping prepare food. And if that's the case, if she's my employee, I'll have some responsibilities to her and to the government. But there are a few situations where she wouldn't actually be considered an employee. She's not an employee if she's an independent contractor, a business partner, an intern, or a volunteer. So what does that mean? An independent contractor is somebody who works independently. They're not employed directly by the business, and they often bring their own tools to the company. They make their own schedule, and they're doing a specific type of work for a certain amount of time. You'll see in your handbooks a list of factors that you consider in determining whether someone is an independent contractor. But the most important thing is this is an autonomous person. You're not directing their work. They're just coming to do a task for you. So May isn't going to be an independent contractor because I'll be making her schedule. I'll be giving her specific tasks. She'll be working directly for me. So this doesn't fit the employee. The second way you could be not an employee is if you're a business partner. This is someone who helps to run the business, shares in the profits, and is really directly involved in creating the business. So that doesn't fit my relationship with May either. Next is an intern. An intern is someone who might work for you to gain skills, as you can see. This person is there not just to help you, but also to gain some sort of valuable asset that they'll take on into the future. You need to be careful if you're a for-profit business using interns that you're not using an unpaid intern to do work that would be done by a paid employee normally. You'll see some other factors in your handbook, but that's really the most important one to keep in mind. And finally, a volunteer is somebody who does unpaid work, usually for charity, for humanitarian purposes, or for educational purposes. Occasionally, a for-profit business will have volunteers if you're working on a special charitable project, but normally if you're a for-profit business, you can't just not pay people to work for you. If you're a nonprofit, then you can use volunteers to help meet the goals of your nonprofit. So in thinking through these non-employee models, May isn't an independent contractor, she's not a business partner, she's not an intern, and she's not a volunteer. So it looks like she's going to be my employee. And that comes with responsibilities to her and to the government. So there are a lot of different things you have to do if you're an employer, and they're covered in more detail in your handbook, but I'm going to touch on a few of the most important ones. First is that you pay minimum wage. So that means in California at least $8 an hour, and it's higher in some cities, so you'll want to see what the city minimum wage is. If you work more than 40 hours for someone, then you also need to be paid overtime. So take that into account when you're thinking about scheduling. You also have to give at least 1 day off a week, and you have to provide lunch breaks and other breaks during the workday. So the Occupational Safety and Health Act, or OSHA, requires that you also maintain a safe workplace, and one of the obligations under OSHA is to post this lovely poster in your workplace so that your employees know what their rights are and how to help keep your space safe. You'll also have to get workers' compensation, so this takes care of any illness or injury or, heaven forbid, death on the job. This will be covered by workers' compensation, and this is considered in what you pay to the government. There are also requirements around working with young employees. You have limited hours that you can work in a week if you're under 16, and this is intended to help people finish school. So I mentioned responsibilities to the government. You'll have obligations to the federal, state, and local government, including paying a lot of taxes, our favorite. You'll have federal and state income taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment that you have to take out of employees' paychecks. And you'll also have immigration laws that say that you need to work with your employee to fill out this I-9 employment eligibility form to make sure that your workers are legally allowed to work in the U.S. So more signs, in addition to taking out taxes and your obligations to your employee directly, you need some more postings in your office place. And the California Employment Development Department requires that you post these notices and posters related to employees' rights. So this helps your employees know what they're entitled to under law. You'll also need to keep records about employees that you can show to the government if you're audited. So to sum this all up, if you're working with people who report directly to you, they're probably your employees. And with employees come responsibilities both to the person and to the government. Employment law can be really complicated, but your handbook has a lot of the details, so it'll help you through the basics and help you make sure that you aren't subject to fines and that you have happy and healthy employees in your workplace.